You good? You got water? You good?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm water loading enough.
Oh, I can dig it, my man. Just curiosity, you don't seem like a guy who doesn't not walk around his fight weight. What do you walk around at?
I walk around at probably like 144.
Oh, it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
I try not to tell people that. Oh wait. I should probably use the microphone. Ask that question again. I don't know if they heard me. I probably walk around at 144, 145. If I'm out of camp and being really fat, probably like 148. You know what I mean? I try not to get above 150. I've been there before, and I look ugly.
Well, you're ugly is a lot of people's pretty. That's awesome that you stay around that weight. And just because, we're on the topic, how important is that? Because I know you got pros like Floyd Mayweather that fought at, 40, 47, all the way to 54. He didn't walk around past 160.
Yeah.
But you got guys that are killing themselves to make weight, man.
I know. I'm one of them at 25. I kill myself to make 125. Like, no joke, I got to be revived from the dead.
But it's not that bad where we see pictures of a certain guy, maybe named Oliveira, that he's on the ground with all the towels, and it's just like going to shorten his career. Like, you are conscious of this.
Well,
to go to 35 one day?
Yeah, so it doesn't seem like it's that bad of a cut because I weigh probably 142 going into actually fight week. I try to come in fight week at 140, but it doesn't seem that bad of a cut. But it is because I only have about 2 or 3% body fat, and I'm, I don't have a lot of weight to lose. So I'm essentially eating my muscles away after, you know what I'm saying? So it's rough. It's a rough cut.
Wow, man. But respect that you're aware of it. You got a good team behind you. You got the science to know to bring that power. Because it's explosive, man. That last knockout was some vicious. And at your weight class, it just makes it that much more exciting to see guys that can finish people, such as yourself, Pantoja. You name it, you're like, man, this dude really packing heat.
Yeah.
How do we replicate that last outing to where we really get that highlight reel knockout, man, going into this Saturday's Apex event?
I think it's the journey of life. The journey of life is very fascinating because it's like a roller coaster. Each fight, there's a lesson. You have, I see this all the time. Fighters will lose a fight, and then they perform the exact same way the next fight. You know what I'm saying? I have gone back, and every time I lose a fight, I think about how did I lose that fight. For example, when I lost against Lazy Boy, granted, I believed I won, but I'm not one of those fighters that make excuses. It went to the judges, and that's my fault. But what I took from that was I had him rocked, had him on his back, unconscious, and then I hit him too many times, woke him back up, and brought him back into the fight because I was overzealous. And I was like, okay, I need to be more calm when I hit somebody, So my last fight, if you watched it, when I hit Luis, I was waiting to see if he was alive or not. You know what I mean? Then he moved, and I was like, all right, now I'll jump on him. So patience is a virtue. I said this before, the journey of life. Fighting reflects who you are as a person, and each time you fight, you grow as a person, or you get big-headed and your ego grows, and then you become worse as a fighter. And I try to keep myself humble. I'm wearing this shirt. It says, I'm a child of God. I'm not perfect. I've done a lot of things that I regret in life, but I try to live up to God's standards as best as I can and learn from the lessons, because I feel like there is always a lesson in everything we do in life. There's a lesson. For example, this is off topic. Last night, I was throwing my food out, and the fork fell on the damn in the trash can, right? Right. And I saw the fork, and I could have slowly, patiently reached for the fork, but I didn't. I reached for the trash around it, and each time I reached for the trash around the fork, it kept falling slower and further and further into the trash can. And it was, before I knew it, the fork was at the bottom of the trash can. So the lesson in that was, had I patiently, slowly reached for the fork, I would have got it. But just like life, we try to reach for everything else around the problem when we should go to the problem or to the source. For me, the source is God. I try to go to God first. But a lot of times I reach for things around God, and everything will just fall to the bottom when I do that. So it's a weird analogy, but it works for me.
It might work for a lot of people, man. Thank you for dropping all these gems, by the way, because it means more coming from someone who's in there doing it. So anybody, thank you on behalf of whoever's going to watch this and be like, dang, I actually needed to hear that. I think he's talking to me directly.
Well, yeah.
Much props to that, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, it's the journey of life, man. I've been to 5 different gyms. I've lived in 5 states. I've been to 13 schools. I grew up in a different country. So another thing I've noticed is I had to do it that way. It had to be that way in order for me to give lessons, because I said this before. How can I give people lessons if I don't come from hardship and have lessons that I need to grow from? You know what I mean? So
that's awesome, man. You pretty much are like a real life Ryu from Street Fighter. You just go around, travel. Fight.
Nah, man, I'm just a normal dude. Thank you, I appreciate that.
That's what's up, man. Staying grounded, white belt mentality. We always think about that.
Yeah.
What's going on this Saturday? How happy are you that you got an opponent who's gonna meet you in the middle? And also, what can we expect, sir?
I'm extremely happy about this, and I was a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie. When they asked me for it, I was nervous because I was like, man, I don't know if I can make 125 in 2 weeks or in 12 days, And they were like, well, we can do 135, and I was like, oh, okay. Now that made me excited. You know what I'm saying? Because 35 is doable in 12 days. 125 is not. But the very first thing I did when I got the call, was opened up my Bible and started reading, because I know that I need something supernatural and divine in order to do this in 12 days' notice.
Man, I can't wait to see it. I was already hyped about this. I'm more pumped up. Can't wait to see it. I'm glad you're at a weight that's going to be good for you, so we get the most explosive version of yourself. And
I was going to say, me and Dewey Cooper, man, we've been working. Outside of this whole debacle here, me and Dewey have been spending a lot of time one-on-one in the gym. I'm talking like Sundays, you know what I mean? Every Sunday, me and Dewey been one-on-one in the gym, just getting after it. So I'm excited to show the world what we've been working on. We've been working man, you thought last fight was good. Wait till you see this one.
Man, well, even if you're working on Sunday, that means you need to take us to church this weekend. Good luck, my man.
Thank you.
You talked about your faith and also, too, just looking for that supernatural. Where did you go to read to try to find that sense of peace, but then also security in making that decision?
Went to God. I cannot make this up. I literally was at church when Jason House texted me about this fight. I'm not kidding you. You can ask Jason. He's got the receipt. I told him, I was like, let me get back to you after church. And I prayed on it. And the message, it was interesting. The message that day at church was God's sovereignty and that he has already written our faith and our plan. It doesn't matter what we do in life. That's what I believe. The plan is already written. So whether I take the fight or whether I don't take the fight, whatever, it's already written. So that's what I'm going to, that gives me a lot of peace. So hope that answers your question.
No, absolutely. And so you'd mentioned on Instagram, and you mentioned it here, talking about, not having those roller coaster moments and finding that peace. And obviously you're finding it through your faith. But for you, why do you feel like that taking this on such short notice doesn't allow you to have those roller coaster moments and for you to stay grounded and just be like, all right, this is a great opportunity in front of me and we're going to do what we got to do?
Well, every fighter can relate. Fight camp is a roller coaster. The injuries, the suffering of those minor things where we go through, whether it's our family, our friends, our relationship, you know what I'm saying? There's so many things that happen that the fans don't know about, that fighters go through our fight camp. So it's an up and down emotional roller coaster where you're excited for your fight when it gets announced, and then you're 6 weeks in and you're like, man, I just want the fight to get here. I'm drained, I'm exhausted, I'm this and I'm that. This fight, didn't have that opportunity to get any of those roller coaster moments. So actually, I'm grateful. I just, I'm like, all right, hey, I'm gonna. It's kind of a win-win for me in a way, because it's like people are probably expecting me to lose on 2 weeks' notice. I'm not expecting myself to lose, but there's really no pressure. There's no pressure at all. It's just now I've lost 3 times in a row. There's no pressure at all. My first loss, I was like, man, it hit me. Second loss, I was like, oh. Third loss, I was like, man, I'm about to just start having fun. Who cares? And that was the thing. But that's what God needed to happen to me. Kind of like polishing a stone, the edges. Now I feel like I'm a lot more polished.
It's interesting you say that because, many people on the outside would say, oh, yeah, Steve Erceg, we've seen him with contender for the belt and everything like that. So, probably is the favorite going into this. Mm-hmm. So for you, what statement would you make by a win over him?
Man, again, let's cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, I'm just focusing on beating him, because if you had asked me this 2 years ago, I would have had a whole after-fight speech. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm just focused on getting the win over him first, and then we'll see whatever comes out of my mouth.
A couple quick ones before we let you go here. We obviously see you constantly showing face at the UFC events, red carpets, UFC X, and things like that, especially here at the Apex. For you, why has it been so important for you to be present at these events and show face?
Well, because the UFC is, I'm obviously biased, but it is the greatest sports organization in the world. So why not? Why not be at the event? Why not show face? Why not try to, be the best that you can be at the event, in the fight, out the fight? Why not? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I would like to someday be somewhat of a face of the UFC. You know what I'm saying? I think the only way to do that is to show the UFC that I am worthy of that by showing up to their events, by doing, all the things that they require of me, by not complaining, by not, doing those things that's pretty much it.
So as a UFC fighter, there's so much glitz and glamour that comes with this, but for you, what do you enjoy most about being in the UFC then?
The thing I enjoy most is using the platform to do good in the world. And I know it sounds so cliche because you hear people say this all the time and you're like, whatever. But no, I'm dead serious. I love, as you know, I was a teacher, so I love working with children. And it's like my trick. I trick them by being a fighter, but really I'm like, let me teach you something about life. You know what I mean? So I love the fact that the UFC can give me a platform to work alongside the youth at a larger scale.
So it's interesting you mentioned that. So taking a look at the UFC flyweight division, there's been a lot of things going on. You could argue that, it's probably one of the most exciting times in the flyweight division in recent history, with Tyra, Josh Van, and everything. What do you make of all this movement and star potential in this division right now?
I think it's great, man. I think, look at Josh Van. He was somebody that no one even thought about for a second. And then all of a sudden, he shocked the world. He took a short notice fight, which is what I'm doing. And that's what I love about the UFC, the stories of fighters that do things like this, that come out, take short notice fights and shake up the world and change the game. You know what I'm saying? I think Josh is an incredible dude. I fought on the same card with him. I had some great conversations with him when we fought at the Spear together. He's a cool dude, and I love seeing that. I love it, man. I got nothing but love and respect for that dude. And I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to hopefully shake up the world. I get a lot of knockouts, and so some of the fighters, I'm just gonna say it. Some of these fighters are kind of boring. They want to take people down and lay on them, and they don't do damage. I'm like, yo, I'm out here trying to knock people out. Like, put me on. You know what I'm saying? Like, put me in the game, coach.
Speaking of guys that you're close with and you're friendly with, Brian Battle, you had posted something the other day with you and him. You guys were at this wine spot, and you dropped the bottle in the wax. What was going on in that situation?
Yo, Brian Battle, first of all, he is wild, man. That's my homie, man. I love Brian to death. He is so cool. He stayed at my house. We've shared a lot of stories and moments together. I love Brian to death. And it's interesting. We're both fighting back to back. I'm fighting this week, and he's fighting next week. So I'm literally leaving probably Tuesday to flying to Chicago to watch him fight. So, see, train of thought, lost it. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Just talk about you guys, being at
dropping the wine.
and the wax.
Dropping the wine and the wax. That's just, man, me and Brian we're like two children when we're around each other. We're just a good, fun time. We're a blast. If you're ever around me and Brian together, we are a blast.
The last one for me, I know there's a lot going on right now in your mind and everything, but when you think of Brian, what memory stands out most right now?
When I think of Brian, what memory stands out the most? Well, I'll say the memory that stands out the most with me and Brian was, we went out one night and we were in Napa Valley. We're doing a wine tour, and we got to be up at 9 o'clock. And we're out. It's 2:30, and I'm like, Brian, we got to go home, man. We got to be up at 9. And so I finally drag him home. And it's 3:30 in the morning. He's like passed out. I get him to bed. Literally, I'm like, oh, finally, because Brian he's wild. He never wants to stop. So finally, I get him home. I get him in bed. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back to my room now. So it's 3:30. He's passed out. Finally, I'm like, oh man, I can sleep. I get back to my room, and he calls me. He's like, where you at? He's like, we're not done. What are you doing? I'm like, Brian, it's 3:30 in the morning, and we got to wake up in like a couple hours, 5 or 4 hours. And he goes, oh, for real? I was like, yes, Brian. He goes, all right, well, good night.
Great story. Good luck Saturday.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Ode, 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 Ode.